All right, this is gonna be one of those where we just talk. All right, this is the first time in a couple of months that I actually logged into this YouTube channel, and I want to apologize first and foremost to the viewers of this channel, the people that subscribe to this channel, people that watch this channel for whatever reason. Thank you first and foremost for the support that you all have given us thus far. I wanted to come on here and basically talk about why the podcast ended abruptly. And honestly, I'm not going to hold you. Normally, I was going to end this off and just leave it like that, leave it as a dead series, leave it as a dead channel, leave it as a dead idea. But I got a inspiration of honesty that I feel like is very transparent. And I want to use this as a learning experience for not only myself, but somebody who probably watches this and somebody who probably watches me. And so you know what to do and what happens and what you will go through in the future when certain plans don't really hit the same way you expected them to hit, and how it's okay to move on, essentially, right? So the podcast and just everything about this channel ended abruptly because, to be honest, it's my fault. You see, I didn't read the room correctly at all, and this is me taking responsibility for it because a lot of factors went into this and why the series kind of like failed out. And honestly, like I said, it's my fault. A lot of things fell short on this channel due to a lot of reasons, but I think the one humongous reason why was because everybody was going through something. I'm pretty sure you guys would read these or watch these podcasts, listen to these podcasts, and you would notice that everybody's demeanor was very either miserable, or they sounded busy, or like overwhelmed was another emotion that I definitely remember hearing through everybody's voice, including myself. And literally everybody was going through something. And not only was everybody going through something, everybody was talking about things that they did not care about. Primarily like Shy or me. There were topics that we always chose that obviously I didn't care for. But then there was ones that I did care for that maybe like Mikey didn't care about, Yoku didn't care about, Shy didn't care about. And it was really hard to like grab interest in one thing unless we were talking about, you know, content creation or everybody else in their like personal lives, which is why those catching up businesses were so long. But a lot of people like that. It's really hard to balance everything. But at some point, everybody was going through something, and it was really hard to not only schedule people to remember to record this Friday, and you know, that was it, but then also for them to come on here and talk about things that they didn't care about in that moment, they didn't care about, you know, during their own emotions and own life occurrences. It was really interesting to go back and watch and hear some of those episodes and like be like, yeah, I could see where this kind of played off. And now that I'm looking back on it now, it's like, damn, like we could have waited to bring this back. It just was not a right time, especially since unfortunately at this point in time when we were doing the podcast, Mikey and Yoku were going out of their channels. They were growing out of their channels. Like they didn't know what they were doing with their content. And honestly, it felt like I was the only one that was funneling traffic through to the podcast, especially, you know, with Shy. She didn't start her content creation thing. She ended up going back to work and getting another job, and like, you know, obviously adjusting to that. And then Mikey obviously just got a job, and he was adjusting to that. Ioku, he found new content, but that was after we ended the podcast. So it was honestly, dude, everybody just seemed to have been going through something. And that is honestly where I guess a lot of this stuff like what stemmed off. And to be honest, to Mikey, to Shy, and to Ioku, I want to apologize. I know to them, you know, it's fine, it's whatever. But in my eyes, it's like it's somebody who, you know, is the face of all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I feel like as a leader, I failed personally. I feel like as a human being that's supposed to entertain people, I failed. And I feel like, you know, we can only learn from this and move on forward from this. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, you know, there was certain topics that I knew would obviously get a lot of views, certain drama and certain people that I didn't want to talk about, because I feel like for me personally, I have a lot more self-respect for myself, and I didn't care too much about to talk about like other people's dramas that weren't my own. And that's what made me realize, like, you know, talking about, you know, current events that didn't pertain to me, I just did not want to talk about it all. And I'm sure, you know, Mikey, Yoku, and Shai felt the same way. And, you know, like I said, this is just my fault. You know, we made a whole Patreon for this podcast, a whole Patreon for like the series that we were going to be doing. So that way everybody got paid. Olivia got paid. And unfortunately, dog, it just did not go through. Again, you know, I don't know who, if there is anybody to even blame, but the podcast stuff fell short. My stuff fell short. Everybody else's stuff fell short. People didn't even start on their series. They didn't start. You know, Ioku didn't start. Shai didn't start. Mikey didn't start. And maybe it was, you know, their anxieties that caused them, their uncertainties that caused them to do so. Who knows? But I know that this all is a byproduct of me and I guess my leadership skills. So in this moment, in this scenario, I failed. No matter what encouraging things that I did, I guess this was it. This was, you know, my failure. And instead of taking that failure and beating myself up over it, I think for me, I'm going to choose to continue to grow. And I may, if you start another podcast, you know, you'll find out if there's another podcast that comes out, you'll find out. But that's pretty much it. That's really it. You know, hopefully everybody that watched this podcast and listened to this podcast, hopefully you guys enjoyed the little memories. Hope you guys enjoyed the moments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cast. I'm gonna link everybody's links in the description section below of the video. And you know, you guys know where to go to for everything else. That's gonna be it for me. And that's gonna be it. We'll talk to you guys next year. If you're still around for Nick, I don't know, but that's gonna be it for me. Bye, guys.